everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Omnichannel Marketer. This is Kate Stevens, and today I'm here with Jess Cervellon, Head of Customer Experience at Feastables. Hey, Jess.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. And so the very fun thing for me is that Jess and I are actually friends. But today we get to go into, a little bit more detail about, what she does, what your story is, and, what Feastables is as a brand. But why don't we start with you, who you are, what your background is?
Yeah, so as Kate mentioned, I am Jess Cervellon. My background is primarily in customer experience. I have been in customer experience for over 15 years at this point. But fun fact, I actually went to art school and graduated from art school and decided I wanted nothing to do with art school and ended up working in the banking industry as a personal banker and then transitioned into offices and always in like levels of like customer service, and then eventually found my way into startups, and my first startup was actually in the SaaS world and not in D2C or CPG. And but now today, Feastables is actually my fifth startup that I've worked at, and the first D2C e-com omni-channel brand that I work for. But my entire background is mostly customer experience in tech.
And so what is Feastables? Tell us a little bit more about the brand.
Yeah, so for those of you that might not know, Feastables is a creator-led brand that was created by Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is honestly the world's largest YouTuber, YouTube influencer. He has over 150 million followers, and he was on a mission to basically change the world of snacking and decided that he wanted to start a snack brand, enter Feastables. But Feastables isn't just like your everyday snack brand or candy brand. It's a better for you snack company. So everything that we do, everything that we create is very well sourced. It's very methodical in like the ingredients that are going into it. It's very limited ingredients and it tastes good.
Amazing. And so what does the scale of Feastables as a brand look like right now?
The scale of Feastables as a brand today is massive. With having Mr. Beast following, that we were able to acquire a customer very quickly, of course. And I think a lot of people think this about creator-led brands that you can acquire all day, but the thing that everybody misses is that how do you retain that customer, right? So we might have a customer who might come in and be really enthralled in like the Mr. Beast world, but how do you actually keep them as a customer? So today we are online, but we are in mass retailers across the US at this point. We are in Walmart. We are in pretty much every major grocery store that you can think of. And we are continuing to scale our retail side of the business.
And so, as a creator-led brand, did you start and launch initially as a D2C brand? Like what came first?
Yeah, so initially we launched as a D2C brand just to get our product out into the market for people to see it, people to have fun with it, get it into their hands. Um, and then, I mean, we were 100% e-com at that point. Like we were 100% only available on the web. And we eventually started like expanding those channels. But still in D2C, we had Amazon. And then gosh, I am blanking on the time frame, but like within the fall of the first year, which was in 2022, is when we started deciding that we wanted to go into retail and move into retail. So predominantly 100% D2C, some Amazon, and then as soon as we turned on the light switch for retail, our business honestly became 80 to 90% retail in just one retailer.
Wow, that's insane. And then why is that? Is that a category? Is that because people buy in retail for snacks, or like why do you think that is?
It's accessibility. Honestly, it's to make it more accessible. Like that's the whole goal is like it's not just a better for you snack, right? Like you can go online and you can purchase online, but then not everybody can purchase the 10 pack of bars. We wanted to be able to sell like a single bar. We wanted to be able to be in all across the US and be able to like I think when you're in D2C, it's and especially in this like world of like creator led, you you have your audience, right? Like you have your audience that knows about you, but then like your word of mouth then continues to come from the internet. And, you know, and I don't just mean like Mr. Beast audience. I also just mean like in general, I think the YouTube audience is very Gen Z, it's very younger generation. So the people that are buying that product are going to be the parents, the grandparents, or younger 20s, or I shouldn't say younger 20s, like early 20s. So the point is though is like your word of mouth at that point is only online, it's only on like a paid advertisement on social media channels. But how do you broaden that and how do you make that more accessible to everybody? So it's not just about like, okay, like I would want it to be on the shelf so the parent knows who we are and then we can be picked up, but like also for the people who maybe can't afford to do shipping and handling and the 10 bars, yeah, at like $30 a pop, right? Online. Like you want to
Hmm.
be able to still sell a bar to one person to get that into that person's hand to then like the word of mouth just becomes broader and broader. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It makes complete sense. I mean, retail has its own mass scale in its own right. It also provides, more accessible form factors to purchase. So you could buy and try one bar as opposed to, whatever it costs for that group. And then there's a different audience in retail as well. So you're reaching that which is outside of, the YouTube audience. Curious, like a little bit more about how you think about, as a creator led brand, how you think about using that audience in your retail channels to either drive customers to retail. How does that play in as a central part of your kind of broader customer experience?
Yeah, I think what's really interesting as just like a customer experience leader, right? Customer experience leaders, like most of their volume you think comes from just in the ecom brand, right? Like it comes from, order support or things that are on the website or subscriptions or like that type of realm, right? So, but with us, our audience just really wants a piece of that like Jimmy pie, Mr. Beast pie. So, they're still coming to us on the internet to and I wouldn't even say it on the internet, like coming into like our channels, like our email, our social, our text message channel. Um, and they're like I think what's an interesting conundrum is that when you go into retail, it's like how do you bridge that gap between um in the customer experience in retail experience though, like how do you still get to talk to your customer, how do you still get to like understand information about them? And so like what we're doing is, I mean, it's very simple and I know a lot of brands are doing this, but every single one of our bars has a QR code on the back of it. So we take that concept of like the QR code and on the back of a bar, and we create an experience on individual bars. So whether you've purchased it online or you've purchased it in retail, we're still getting to interact with you because we're driving you back to our website or we're driving you back to like the content and materials that we've created, right? So I mean, like that's one aspect of it. But then also we're thinking about, okay, well, how do you from on the shelf, like how do you create an experience for that customer while they're just shopping? Like how do you pop out of the shelf? And that kind of goes back down to a little bit of like packaging, but it also comes down to creating in a way like spectacle marketing to drive that customer to those stores. Like our concentration is still of course like on D2C because like that's the digital experience, but our spectacle marketing is also driving our customers to these retail stores as well to get them to purchase us.
That makes complete sense. I know you've also thought about other ways to engage your community. I think you were telling me a story about how you were flying around the country to give out Teslas as a reward for, a contest. Could you talk about some of the I think that Feastables is like super, super creative in the way that you interact and even reward customers for engagement. So could you speak to that? Could you speak to like your phone number and how that's unique to the brand? Just a couple of those little kind of quirky things that you do as a brand.
Yeah, I mean, you, I'll bring up two. So, one of the things, and going back to like every bar having a QR code and like creating like that digital experience, one of the drives that we do, even from like the QR code, um, into, a conversation is we have an area where it says like text us. We text back and it like gives them to like sign up for our SMS list, but like it's not just like a regular phone number. Our phone number is 69420, and like we literally use that as like a play. um I wouldn't even say a play. I would say like just like an engagement, a brand experience, right? And so like on our SMS channel, like we're constantly keeping people engaged, not just on like, oh, okay, go to the store and like buy this product, right? We're keeping people engaged with like fun facts or funny things for them to respond to, or SMS games that they can like reply back to and engage with. So that's one avenue of like gamification and just like engagement. But then the other end of it, I wouldn't say we always have a contest always on, but we're always people come to our brand because they like giveaways, they like participating in contests or sweepstakes. And a lot of our brand is like built on that gamification. And if you purchase, you're entered into the sweepstakes. And so going back to what Kate was saying, one of the sweepstakes that we had, this is like early last year, we gave away 11 Teslas, or I'm sorry, we gave away 10 Teslas. I gave away 11 Teslas, one of which was from a different contest. So So in this particular giveaway, though, we gave away 10 Teslas, and it was the same thing. It was like purchase the bar, scan it, enter, you see if you won, right? And then we like selected the winners and whatnot. But because, and this is really interesting, like, okay, you don't just go and like Tesla doesn't like wrangle deals for you. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. Like they're not like, hey, let me give you 10 Teslas on a wholesale discount. Okay. It's not like that. Every one of those Teslas that was purchased, I had to purchase them. I had to like have one on one conversations with the winners. And not only did I have to have these one on one conversations and gather their information and like, get like buy the Tesla, right? I also had to go hand deliver those Teslas. So last year I was flying around the country, I mean, anywhere from like Boston to Portland, LA, like all of these places. And I was hand delivering this Tesla to people. But what was so amazing about that experience, like, I don't want it to come off like it's a complaint because it's not. I think what's so amazing about that experience was that it was a brand experience, it was a winner experience, it was a customer experience, right? So, me being like the customer experience leader, going out, getting this Tesla, driving this Tesla to somebody's house is like kind of like publisher's clearinghouse in esque in a way. But the excitement that these people have, and not even just excitement, like the changing of their lives in a way. Like I remember
Mm-hmm.
some of these stories, like one kid, he I asked him, I was like, oh, what are you going to do with this Tesla? And he's like, oh, well, I live with it at home. We only have one car. It's breaking down, and there's like four of us, and we're all sharing one car. So like this car is actually going to really help mobilize us and get us to like our jobs and like places that we need to go, right? That's like something that's like changing somebody's life. And it's not just like, oh, okay, here, give you, I'm gonna give you this free Tesla, like in the abundance of Teslas that you have, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like the audience comes to us for these giveaways and purchases the products not only because they enjoy it, but also because they want a piece of that, like that philanthropy, like giveaway, like pie that Mr. Beast, as a whole has really captured.
Mm. That's, I mean, such a fun, cool story. And really, I think like leans into what is the essence of the brand in many ways, as this creator brand is, engaging and, really talking to your customers, which I think like leads me back to more, diving a little bit into your role holistically. And I know we talked about, okay, how do you bridge the gap across the different channels that you're selling through, but would love to hear just more generally about what your either day to day looks like or what you're most excited about as it relates to building out and continuing to build out the customer experience for Feastables, because I know that that's like where your passion lies. And I think that, as a creator brand, there's like a fun element that you get to play around with both like the ethos of the brand and then also all like the content that you're constantly creating as a brand, and Mr. Beast is a brand.
Yeah, I think what's really fun and like honestly what my day to day is, and I briefly touched a little bit about this. Um, I think, a lot of times people look at like customer experience leaders as just like, oh, they're just support. You're just like ticket pushing or taking some tickets and like answering them and like going on and having your day, right? But what gets me going like every single day in just customer experience in general and not just, Feastables, is that customer experience is also very much about like community building. It's about a digital experience. And when I mean digital experience, it's about like how can we automate and self-service things, but make it really engaging for the customer, right? So, and like those are two different avenues that like I also concentrate on, other than just like supporting the customer, right? And then in support itself, like, yes, there's a level of like order support and Feastables, but there's also a level of like fan chatter. We get to like talk to some of these fans and really get to know like this consumer base in a really fun and engaging way. So, like, some of the things that I'm building and like spend a lot of my day to day is like creating seamless customer experiences from a digital aspect. So, right now, like, briefly mentioned 69420 as our text message channel, but what happens after the marketing campaign, because this audience really likes to engage, right? So I'm building out that seamless experience of like what happens after somebody has responded to the marketing campaign. Where do they go? What are they doing? Are they getting information about product? Are they engaging with us and getting maybe a joke? Can they still like, can we be on the other end and talk to those individuals? So it's like, so that's what I mean by like a little bit about what I mean about like creating a digital experience, like a digital pathway for our customers to engage with us. And then on the other end of it, the other things that I'm like building right now is like, I have this really robust web bot on our website. And so you think about it, like when I'm a customer, I purchased a bar maybe at Walmart or Mariano's, I scan the bar and then I go and I'm led back to our website, right? I've already purchased that bar, but like how do you create an engaging experience that's going to create like brand loyalty that this person's going to want to constantly purchase the bars and additional products, right? So like that's again like that's my where I come in on like the website is like on the cut on customer experiences. I built out this really robust like web bot, right, where a customer can go and like have conversations, um, and of course like get like basic order support and product information, but there also is engagement pathways where they can get jokes or memes or just fun ways of engaging us. So that's like honestly that's what gets me going every day about customer experience for Feastables and just in general is how do you engage with that customer and build loyalty in creative and content driven ways, and
Mm-hmm.
not just it being like, oh, email me for to do this, right? It's like how do I have an always on experience?
Mm-hmm. And, especially for a brand of your scale, it needs to, I think that there must be a balance of like personalization and automation. And I think that's where your bot comes in, right? Because you're getting a lot of volume, but it makes it feel really personalized
Hmm.
to the consumer. So I think that that's kind of the beauty is where you can kind of balance this personalization and automation to engage your customers at scale.
Yeah. And one other thing that I also wanted to mention, and this is just kind of like a hot tip. So that QR, again, I know I keep talking about the QR, but like, on the back of that QR, it's
Well,
not only
listen,
gives
Jess,
you,
it's okay
I
for
know,
you to continue to talk
I know.
about QR codes. That's okay. This is the
He
right
loves
time and
it.
place.
He loves it. um, so, on the back of that QR code, though, yes, you can take them to the website. You can take them down to like signing up for SMS or like, content that you've created, whatever it is, right? Or, but I've also inserted a survey into that channel too. Very like scrappy survey. Okay, went on Typeform, built it out, was like, I wonder who's gonna respond to this, right? Turns out 90% of the respondents of that survey have been Walmart buyers.
Hmm.
So it's just like a hot tip, fun way of getting some information about your consumer and understanding that retail experience. And that's just another avenue of like engagement that like I've developed out because it's like, again, customer experience isn't just about supporting. Yes, it's about that digital experience that I was explaining, but additionally, it's also about like understanding that consumer and like creating feedback loops. And that's a way that I've created a feedback loop from the retail experience.
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, so it's not just that, first party data knowing who the customer is, but it's, zero party data knowing more about like attributes. What, out of curiosity, what are you asking? Like, what are you surveying about?
Um, Honestly, we have been surveying about like their shopping experience, like things like, okay, what kind of creating like these mystery shoppers in a way of like what is like are bars broken on the shelves, like what does it look
Mm,
like all of those things, right? And then additionally, what we've also been surveying for is like taste attributes, like or I'm sorry, taste feedback. So did you like when we have a new product, let's say cookies, right? Like what did you like the taste? Was it doughy enough for you? Like all of these different like attributes and like getting information about like like our products and like taking that information into development. I mean, you can get like demographic information because I have asked demographic information about like age range, but I will warn like get check with your privacy policies first before you go about that. But we were asking that stuff for some time too. And then trying to think. It's primarily like the shopper experience feedback as well as like taste feedback that
hmm.
we're really gleaming like information from that's going directly into R&D.
Amazing. So shifting gears to a topical focus about something that you feel bold or, passionately about.
Mhm.
What is it?
I mean, I think I've mentioned this like 5,000 different times and like
I
it's
know what it is. It's like such a softball, but I'm
I
gonna let
know.
you say it anyway and tell me why.
Yeah, I mean, again, I am a customer experience leader. I've been in customer experience for over 15 years, right? And like, I am very passionate and very ambitious to change the way that people think about customer experience. Customer experience isn't just customer support, it's community building, it's creating digital experiences, it's a variety of different experiences with your customer. And again, I think we just need to get, a little bit more rep in up in here. Like I think that customer experience is literally the backbone of every business, whether you're SaaS or a brand, a CPG brand, like whatever it is, your customer matters the most, and like experience that they're having with your brand is so important. So last point, customer experience is all about relationship building with your customer and like what what drives them to want to keep coming back. And it's not just support.
I echo and completely agree with that as a SaaS business, as a CPG business. So completely agree. Thank you, Jess. Okay, moving into our lightning round. So just, some quick questions about some of your favorites. Favorite omni-channel brand?
Man, I was thinking about this last night. I think my favorite omni-channel brand honestly is Olipop. You can see
Mm,
Olipop in literally every store, and their experience is always consistent.
Yeah, they're an awesome brand, and that is not the first time that that's been someone's favorite. So they're doing something right. Thing that you wish you could change about our industry.
I mean, again, it's and it's like it's not even just like this industry about brands. It's also just like as a whole, like SaaS too, right? I think that we need to give customer experience a little bit more credit from like a customer success, a community management, a customer support point of view. And I don't think that you can just automate your way through your customer experience, like 100% automate your way through a customer experience.
Yep, makes complete sense. Jess, what is your favorite podcast?
Well, Kate, thanks for asking. Listen, I'm gonna rep my podcast, Oopsie Podcast, y'all. I co-host it with Zoe Kahn from Choms. We bring people on to our podcast to talk about their biggest oopsies, what they lived, laughed, and learned about it, and it's a good time, and I highly recommend.
I highly recommend. It is a lot of fun, and the reality is we've all made our oopsies in the workplace. So I think, Jess and Zoe help you chat through those. It's very relatable. Okay, favorite newsletter.
Man, this one's really, really hard. So I'm actually going to give you two. Celebrity Package Goods
Okay.
by Dhruv Patel. I love it because he really breaks down like um, the creator brand like industry. Really has like a lot of like great facts in it. It's always like very well written too. So Celebrity Package Goods. And then second one, oh man, there's actually three. Second one is Express Checkout by Nate Rosen, packed with lots of information about the industry, who's going into retail, like what's on the shelves, like really great. And third one, I'm sorry, third one is Eli Wise's uh,
Mm,
shoot his newsletter, and he's gonna kill me the fact that I can't even think of the full name of it, but it's about CX and retention, and again, very well written, very like hot takes, awesome, awesome dude. One of all three of those are like the three that I constantly read.
totally agree with you. Favorite social media channel.
God, Twitter, sadly.
Oh
Instagram's
yeah, you're
like
you're
dead for me,
you're
and
deep in
I
Twitter.
know, I
I'm
know.
just trying. I'm trying to get better at Twitter. I really am.
Ugh. I
One
just all
day
need to
I'll
hire a
I'll teach you
ghostwriter.
link. I'll teach you LinkedIn, and then you'll teach me Twitter.
Deal, deal.
Um, favorite book.
Okay, I just read this book, but it's called The Middle Finger Project. For anybody who's suffering from well, it's mostly geared to women. I'll be frank with you, but anybody who's suffering from imposter syndrome or thinking about like taking the next step, not unsure if like they should go into business by themselves, like this is the book for you. Like it's so real, it's so raw, it's funny, and it's actually captivating. And
Hmm.
I read this book at the beginning of the year, and like it has catapulted me into doubling down on myself.
Oh, I love that. That's
Mhm.
great. And then favorite event that you're excited about going to this year.
Well, there's so many events, but on later this month, I'll actually be at Sub Summit, and I will be doing a
Mm.
panel with Nick Sharma. So, but I am really excited about this event in general because it's yes, subscription focused, but also very customer focused. So I'm really excited to learn from a lot of other speakers and network with other individuals and nerd out about customer experience in person.
I love that. So Jess, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, so I have my own website. It's jesscervion.com. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. Kate, I'm sure will spell my last name and put it in the show notes for you. But
Of course.
LinkedIn, Jess Cervion, and jesscervion.com.
Amazing. And on Twitter.
And on Twitter, which is also Jess Cervion. Very, you know, very good at picking the names up in here.
Amazing, Jess. It was so much fun chatting with you. Thank you for your time. Excited to, share this with everyone.
Thanks.
If you liked this podcast, follow me and the Bridge page on LinkedIn and Twitter for hot takes and tactical advice. If you really loved today's episode, we'd love a review on the podcasting platform of your choice, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thanks for listening.